Hello and welcome to a new video. This time let's look at how we can use MySQL Workbench to develop a database. It will allow us to draw an entity relationship diagram. Typical abbreviation is ERD, and we can create the table structure or even the data itself if we wanted to, and then we can export that as an SQL file. Then VF1 will be able to use this database for our application. Now you can download MySQL Workbench from the website if you search for it, and you can choose from both an installation version or a version that doesn't need installing and is just a zip archive that you can literally unzip and open on the go, which is what Vito has here. Now this one that he's using is a slightly older version, but you can use the newer one from the website if you prefer. So let's launch Workbench and create a database. Okay, so let's just close this window now because we don't need that anymore and create our new database. So let's rename this to something that we'd like to work with. We'll use a fictional organization here for our example, and we'll call it Cars and People. So Cars and People, and then let's create our ERD. So you see that icon at the top there will allow us to add our diagram. Now here you can see this grid window has appeared, which will allow us to draw our ERD. Looks a bit similar to Visio if you've used that before. And in our example we're going to want 4 tables. So let's use the table icon and double click to name our first table Staff. Now the column names need to match what VF1 will expect to find. So the first column needs to be called ID. Now this, because we're naming this the first column, it will automatically be the primary key. So we need one column called ID of type integer. It needs to be auto incrementing as well. Okay, and the second column needs to be called referred underscore as. So that's referred as. That needs to be a varchar of type 40 characters. And we don't want that to be auto incrementing, and it can also be null. And once we have those 2 fields, we can create anything else that we like. Here Vito's adding the date of birth of type date, but you can create any other fields you like as long as you have the ID and the referred as well. So you could create an address or anything really. Here's address. Okay. Now our fictional organization also would have departments. So let's create a new table, call this one department. And let's think about what columns we might need. Well, according to VF1, the first one will need to be an ID of type integer. Again, it has to be auto incrementing, and the primary key, which naturally here is indicated by that yellow key symbol. And then we would want referred as. Now this column will be used to give the name of our department. So referred as type varchar of 40 characters in length. Again, we don't want that auto incrementing, and it's certainly not the primary key. And we can have some extra fields as well, but for our purposes of today I don't think we need extra fields for this table. So now if we look at these 2 tables, we can see we have a one-to-many relationship. That is, one department can have many staff. So let's use the icon and create this relationship by clicking on the 2 tables. And then by default the foreign key is created for us. So here in the staff table we have the foreign key to the department table's ID. So that's created automatically just by using that icon. Okay, so in part 2, the next video, we will look at adding the next table to our database.